What's in the box? So what's in the box? It's another generation method for ideas. Kind of similar to mind maps, but not as all over the place. If you do prefer things that are more structured, this one might be for you. So mind maps are the explosion of ideas on a page. Don't care about lines, grids, structures, whatever. What's in the box? I'm just dubbing it that. I don't think there's actually a real name for it. Is when you take a piece of paper and you fold it up, and when you unfold it, of course, you're left with all these creases that create a bunch of boxes. You can also just draw a bunch of boxes on a journal page if that's what you have. If you prefer working digitally, directly, create a grid on your artboard or in Excel where you can just type things out. You are literally just supposed to fill a bunch of ideas in a box. Setting the timer adds urgency or a little bit of pressure. Shouldn't be like, oh no, now I'm stressed pressure, but you're trying to fill every single box, ideally front and back for the page. Once again, this is just about getting stuff out of your brain, because usually the first, hunk of ideas when you're trying to solve a problem or just come up with something new is gonna be like that easy level, what we call surface level shit. I'm gonna have to bleep out so many of these videos, but you're supposed to just get all of the surface level ideas out, because more than likely, some of those first ideas that come to you are going to be what we call low-hanging fruit. They're the easy ideas. And sometimes that's what a problem or a challenge calls for. It's the easiest answer, and that's great. But if you're trying to find something that's a little more unique or a little different, you gotta get all that stuff out of your brain so that way you know it's there and you can always return to it, but then you can actually start digging into other things and going a little bit further.
Okay, let's try it. We're gonna do the prompt apples. Keep it simple. And here we go. I'm gonna be dumping out, like I said before, all that surface level junk ideas. Yeah, you got an apple. We got apple pie. What's next? Ooh, apple juice. What about these apple slices? Okay, we're still feeling a little bored right now, right? Then I was like, oh, what if these ants get on here? And then this turned into a mini comic. So I made this ant be like, heck yeah, I'm the king of this apple. Isn't that dope? He's got a flag and everything. But then I was like, what else likes apples? Flies? Probably. So of course this fly is gonna be super excited and be like, whoa, I also want that apple. Where do apples come from? Trees. Well, trees have a lot of apples. So of course we're gonna have this happy little tree that's like, oh, wait man, I have more apples. We're gonna do a close-up and be like, there is no reason to fight, but the fly and the ant are like, war. We must war over the apples. But then I'm like, what does the apple think of this? And it's like, hey, are y'all gonna eat me? Is that what this is about? So then I decided I should probably move on. I was getting really into this comic. We need more ideas. We have apple of my eye, looking like a snack. Poison apple. Apples have to do with temptation. Bad apples. Rotten apples. Apple cores. And then I started to get really weird and think of other references like Rick and Morty, hungry for apples. Apple cores, well, what if there's a planet made of apples and the core is a giant molten apple? Company Apple, Mac, their old logo was Isaac Newton, and, the apple fell on Isaac Newton's head, and that's how we thought of gravity. So what if apples have actually been trying to further help the human race by first introducing gravity to Isaac Newton? This leads down a rabbit hole that has to do with, well, are apples actually more sentient than we know, and they know more than we do? Are they good? Are they bad? What if we then do action figures? I thought of Bad Granny, as in Granny Smith, and then I was like, well, bad apples, bad grannies. What if there's action figures based on all the apples? And then it just kind of spiraled out from there. We also have doctors against apples because apple a day keeps the doctor away. Apples are putting doctors out of business. Apples also have a really long mythology. They appear in a lot of different mythologies over time. So what if the apples in the Apple store are actually a family like in succession, where they're vying to be the best type of apple, and new apple families have come into the fray, and the old apples, aka the old money, start to get feisty? What does a battle amongst apple families look like? Here's a peek into my crazy brain, but this is also how I use this grid to let me come up with crazy weird ideas, no holds barred, just put it all out there. I can always go back and pick the idea that is best and riff with that, move it on. This is also meant to be used with whatever prompt you want. Apples was just an example. I hope you try this out. Let me know how it goes. Follow along for more creative weirdness and how to do it. Good luck, have fun, and get weird.